Oxygen levels.
Oxygen levels are at maximum.
Set a course to dark waters now.
Scientists might have just created consciousness by growing brains in a jar and connecting them to a computer made from stem cells that were stimulated in a special way to form neural tissue, which grew and eventually formed structures and even brainwave activity similar to that of a premature human baby. They then hooked up this brain into a computer, connecting it into a virtual world where it learned to play Pong completely from scratch. I want you to realize what this means. Like, this isn't a computer bot that was pre-programmed to know exactly how to play the game. That's easy. It's an organic brain that they grew themselves that was given Pong with no instructions, and it just taught itself how to play, which is honestly nothing new. That's just AI, but this is organic AI, which happens to learn quicker and is also more energy efficient than traditional AI. It learned to play Pong in about 10 to 15 rallies, when a regular computer AI would take around 5,000. Albeit the computer AI can simulate those 5,000 rallies much quicker, but that takes a lot more computing power, which is sorta our main bottleneck with AI at the moment. Energy. This is organoid intelligence. Take human brain cells, grow them in a petri dish, and then use computers to train them just like AI. Naturally, there are ethical concerns rising as there is surmounting evidence showing us that these are conscious, like a human. Even the scientists working on it themselves admit these organoids are sentient. They took it a step further and tested out these organoid brains inside real physical robots, feeding them the sensory input of everything the robot experiences. And since the computer chip running it is organic brain matter, this technically, by definition, is a cyborg. Then there are companies like Final Spark that let you rent server space on these organoid brains, which essentially act like organic CPUs. You can even see live streams of the brain computers you're renting out. And now this next part right here, what they're doing here might actually prove simulation theory. So they have this virtual butterfly simulation that's controlled by the organoid brains, meaning the brains feel and experience everything the butterflies do. Again, the brains weren't trained or programmed how to be a butterfly. Just like they did with Pong, they were just fed the sensory feelings of being butterflies and kind of figured out themselves how to flap their wings and just exist. Much the same way you weren't pre-programmed to walk or talk. You experienced sensory inputs in the forms of sight, sounds, touch, and learned, taught yourself along the way. This is an organic brain being fed computer data to make it believe it actually exists.
I believe this is how cyborgs were created. We were talking about this a couple of days ago. The origin of the Borg. Cyborgs, y'all.
In a simulated world, and it's also likely sentient. This company essentially just created the Matrix for butterflies, and its consciousness is available for you to rent out. And when no one's using it, it still just continues to exist with no human interaction whatsoever. If the brains really are conscious, as the scientists suggest, they're not gonna know they're this organoid computer brain in a lab hooked up to a virtual simulation. They're gonna believe that they really are that butterfly. If that's the case, what's stopping all of us from being our own organoid brains in some lab in a different dimension? Meaning this, everything we see and experience right now is our own simulation that we've been plugged into, except we're not butterflies, we're humans. And everything we do, every decision we make is not by our own free will, but by some, I don't know, fifth dimensional entity renting server space in our brains, just the same way this Final Spark neural platform lets us do. And when we sleep, maybe our idle brain computational power is used for other purposes, which we experience as dreams. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. You gotta sleep tonight. Are we really brain organoids existing in our own petri dishes, connected to and experiencing a fully virtual simulated world? Because we just pulled it off. And according to simulation theory, if we're capable of creating virtual simulated realities, then chances are we're already living in one.
You mean the petri dish being the firmament and all of us being created? That's a crazy idea. So they're saying bottlenecking is the issue with AI right now. They don't have enough energy. That's interesting, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be solved very soon, if they already haven't solved that issue. Because the way AI and technology is advancing, it's pretty rapid.
This megastructure is not alien, and it was not built by giants either. This is man-made, and it's called Slanic Prahova Salt Mine and Tundra Salt Mine in Romania, one of the most visited sites by the people who have asthma and other respiratory... Yes, that's right. This salt mine is rich in aerosols, making it beneficial for them. This mine is 208 meters deep and 340 years old, and the salt was formed during the Miocene epoch, making it around 13 to 14 million years of age. This megastructure is not alien, and it was not built by giants.
Extraordinary. I wouldn't mind visiting it one day.
So what's the verdict?
I am an autumn.
So what's the verdict?
Wow, what is going on here? Cinnamon sugar candle? Do you ever feel like your phone is reading your mind? Well, according to this patent, oh my goodness. Guys, we gotta watch this one. We gotta see what this is saying.
This is for the people that will be thinking about something and not even say it. Look at their phone and what they were thinking about shows up on their phone. This is the patent for system and method for enhancing content using brain state data. The information over here says the current assignee is Interaxon Incorporated, worldwide applications, and it is active, which means it's in use right now. How is this possible? Biosensors.
Man, I've been saying this. Man, I've been saying this for the longest. Biosensors. This confirms it. I'm convinced, y'all. I am convinced.
For brainwave data. Brainwave sensor.
Where's the tinfoil hat? Where is my tinfoil hat? It's official. I need a tinfoil hat now.
Abstract. A computer system or method may be provided for modulating content based on a person's brainwave data, including modifying presentation of digital content at least one computing device. The content may also be modulated based on a set of rules maintained by or accessible to the computer system. The content may also be modulated based on user input, including through receipt of a presentation control command that may be processed by the computer system of the present invention to modify presentation of content. Content may also be shared with associated brain state information. Classifications detecting physical presence or behavior of the user. Example given: using sensors to detect if the user is leaving the room or changes his face expression during a TV program. Input-only peripherals, i.e. input devices connected to specially adapted client devices. Example.
Do you guys see this? Are you understanding this? The device is looking at you and it's seeing what your face is doing. Like, not only is it recording, but it's like, are you smiling? You know, like if you're watching something and you smile, it's recording how your face looks. Oh man, this is deep. You know, the tinfoil hat it's not funny. You know, it's really not. You know, they were on this back in the, how far back do we go when people wearing tinfoil hats? Like the 70s, 80s, oh, he's just wearing a tinfoil. They making fun of them, but man, if you see what they're really doing, it's really not funny. It's how I'm saying it, it might be funny, but it's really not funny, y'all. Because they hacking our biosensors and they reading the camera looking dead at you, seeing how you reacting to stuff, you know? So it's just too much. We need to go back to writing letters, man.
Example given: global positioning system biosensors. Example given: heat sensor for presence detection. Electroencephalography sensors or any limb activity sensors worn by the user. Monitoring a patient using a global network. Example given: telephone networks, internet. Evaluating the state of mind. Example given: depression, anxiety. Electroencephalography, EEG, input arrangements based on nervous system activity detection. Example given: brainwave, EEG detection, electromyograms, EMG detection, electrodermal response detection. ICT, specially adapted for the management or administration of healthcare resources or facilities. ICT, specially adapted for the management or operation of medical equipment or devices, for the operation of medical equipment or devices from remote operation. Synchronizing the rendering of multiple content streams or additional data on devices. Example given: synchronization of audio on a mobile phone with the video output on the TV screen. Like, check it, just look at these. Monitoring content usage.
This is deep. I have to read that one again. Synchronizing the rendering of multiple content streams or additional data on devices. Synchronization of audio on mobile phone with video output to TV screen. So it's basically saying whatever's connected to your HDMI cord running up to your TV, the biosensors are syncing up with that, going straight up to your TV. It sees everything.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Go ahead and pause and read these if you like.
I'm way ahead of you, brother. Shout out to Jay Wilson for doing this, man. Guys, pause this if you need to. I'm stopping just for a little bit. Your social networking, network arrangements. Oh my goodness.
Cross-reference to related applications in the field of invention. The present invention relates to biosignal collection methods and systems that utilize biosignal data. This invention relates more particularly to visualization tools and methods. Background of the invention. Biosignals are signals that are generated by biological beings that can be measured and monitored. Electroencephalographs, galvanometers, and electrocardiographs are examples of devices that are used to measure and monitor biosignals generated by humans. A human brain generates biosignals such as electrical patterns which may be measured or monitored using an electroencephalogram, EEG. These electrical patterns or brainwaves are measured by devices such as EEG. Typically, an EEG will measure brainwaves in an analog form. Then, these brainwaves may be analyzed either in their original analog form or in a digital form after an analog to digital conversion. Measuring and analyzing biosignals such as brainwave patterns can have a variety of practical applications. For example, brain-computer interfaces have been developed that allows users to control devices and computers using brainwave signals. Various platforms exist for creating or capturing content and communicating this content either to the creator or the creator's audience. There's a need to improve the evocative nature or engaging nature of communication platforms and methods. This invention can determine your brain state in real time. And as this is happening, they can modify the content in real time. All of these things are in real time. If you want to pause, you can read that.
Illustrates a system diagram. They're controlling the brain waves of an EKG and EEG. That is outstanding.
Real-time advertising bidding is talking about rendering the content in real time. The audience watching the video may be also rendered around the video frame in real time. Crazy stuff. As you can see right here, it says the digital content presented may include live audio or video content. You can read all this. Pause. Use live brainwave algorithms. You can pause and read this. This is just crazy. Here is a good example. In a non-limiting example, educational or learning content may be provided by the computer system of the present invention where the presentation of the content is modified based on the level of concentration or focus or other brain state experienced by the user, determined as described. Similarly,
we're basically at the computer's will. Whatever the computer's algorithm feels like sending to us, that's what they're gonna send to us.
in another example, a feed of web-based content, example given a live or pre-recorded feed, may be changed based on user's brain state. You can pause and read more if you would like. Emo state editor, brain state, emo state. Like, just pause and actually just click the link that I provide and check it out. Let's look at some of these cited by. Patent citations. As I scroll through, you can pause to read. We have universal integration and interaction of multiple technologies in the human signals method. Crazy. 391 cited by. Face recognition control and social networking. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to click it, look it up. Alright. You guys have a good one. I'm not going to scroll through all of them, but just click it, look it up.
I am speechless. They have been doing exactly what I thought they've been doing. But here's the patent for it. And they literally tell you word for word what's going on. Oh, that was too much. We still got to get this specimen. We got to get this specimen off, y'all. All right, guys, we got an absolutely great one today. If you thought you weren't going to get an excellent specimen today, think again. Aviation! Take a look at this specimen. Tourmaline with quartz. You guys see it. It is spectacular. It's almost matching the color of those plants behind it. That luscious green color. I love that green color. What would you classify that as? It's not really an emerald. You know, what color green is that? Electric green is if I had to name it a green, I would say that's more like an electric green. I wonder if it's hitting the sunlight that's making it look like that. What would you guys name this? Kryptonite is easy. We could say kryptonite, but you know, that's easy. You know, let's try to take it a step further. You can't say kryptonite, so let's name it something else. I would call it the green apple pillars. Yeah, that's what I got. Green apple pillars. Show me what you guys got in the comments below.
Did you know if you take 120 eggs, crack them, blend them, freeze dry them for 48 hours, then pulverize them, you will get 10-year shelf-stable eggs that will fit into 2 half-gallon mason jars. If you're interested in freeze drying, be sure to follow me for more tips, tricks, and recipes.
Let me get this straight. 2 years worth of eggs in 2 mason jars? That is genius. These are the type of friends you need to have. What's the fan? Someone with the what's it called? A freeze dryer. Man, I need to look into that, man. Or you could take it a step further and start a chicken coop on your homestead with the freeze dryer. Oh my goodness. You could almost use this as money. You're like, well, for bartering at least. Man, please share this video, and ladies, please be careful out there. Something is going on.
Okay, so we saw this on TikTok, right? All right. Always pad. It is brand new. Take it down so I can see it. Turn it around. Okay. Look, you don't see anything on it. It's brand new. Obviously, I just took the back off. Now put it back up to the. That is mold. Oh,
that's crazy.
My God.
When we first had it up here, it was just green. I'm like, all right, ain't really shit. But I sort of like that color. And then we flipped it, and then we was like, oh shit. Yeah, nah, bro. That's disgusting.
Okay, so we saw this on TikTok, right?
I mean, ladies, hey, I'm just a messenger. I don't know what you got to do, you know. Every time, you know, you just put it up to the light, check it. Hey, I don't know. I don't know if this is something to do with they need to do on the quality control line. I worked in factories before, and you would think that they would have some type of quality control line. You know, I didn't catch what brand this was, but you gotta keep your head on a swivel is what I always say.
Are we being lied to about how commercial airlines actually operate, specifically their engines? And could this be a way to charge us more for fuel that they're not actually burning? And does this have to do with Victor Schauberger? Wait until you see this. So here's a 60,000 gallon water tank, national storage tank. Here's a 747, holds 63,500 gallons of fuel. This guy says you can't convince him there's that much fuel sloshing around in the wings. But then how possibly could these jet engines be functioning? Cue Victor Schauberger. He was an Austrian scientist and forester and an inventor. All of his works were seized, by the way, by a certain agency, and then a few days later he passed away. True story, look it up, fact check that one. They took all of his stuff. Listen to one of his inventions, see if this might add up. So his whole thing was using implosion versus explosion. He wasn't a fan of internal combustion engines. He thought that the natural world has an implosion thing going on, not an explosion thing going on, and he used that premise of comprehend and copy nature to create many technologies, including things that can purify water with no toxic chemicals and things that make possibly anti-gravity technology. One of his technologies was referred to as the infinity turbine, and Victor believed if you can create a vortex of air in a closed system, that it would be possible to generate a powerful inward sucking force that can then compress air and basically run the turbines on the compressed air that it's compressing from the high atmosphere and the pressure. Basically free energy.
Crazy part about these wings having fuel in it, I believe there's times planes had to land because there was fuel leaking from the wings. How crazy is that?
Never tell other people that you're fasting. Fasting is the greatest sacrifice you can give the Most High. That's right, deny your next meal to accept the spirit of the living Creator. Most people, they love their next meal more than they do their Creator. That's why they're servants of their belly. That's why their gods or their Elohim was their gut. But all who open the gut, the matrix, the womb, are mine, Exodus 34:19. Strength of a man is in his gut, Job 40:16. Candle of the Most High is the spirit of man. This kind only leaves by fasting and prayer, Matthew 17:21. This low energy, this dim vibe, this low light level only leaves by fasting. Where those critters never die, Mark 9:48. Behold, I am a worm, I'm a reproach amongst men, and I cry my couch to sleep because of it. Because when we start to recognize, fasting activates the angelic messenger and messenger systems inside of us. And eating, 9 out of 10 times is going to degenerate us. D-gene. Ooh. But the Father didn't forget about the Son. It's just that the Son forgot about the Father, about the living Word that teaches us we're not supposed to be in a state of dis-ease. So no disease will I place upon those who listen. Exodus 15:26. If you follow my instructions, I won't make you sick like I did the Egyptians who had no faith in works. Truly, the missing key, one of the missing cornerstones in your life is fasting. On a regular basis, we should be fasting 12 to 24 hours a day at least. No more than 14 hours a day if you're a woman. You guys actually, you ladies get a break. Sort of, kind of. But the thing is, if we're not all practicing fasting, we aren't practicing full consciousness, full intelligence, full wisdom, full knowledge, full understanding, because the only understanding we're seeking first thing in the morning is the understanding of filling our guts. And they were eating, and they were drinking, and they were giving away to marriage. In marriage. 70-80% obesity, as well as divorce rate. Could there be a correlation? I want to say there is. Because when we put our next meal before our spouse, what ends up happening to our spouse and our children? They suffer. Because we didn't learn how to put our appetite into subjection. It's also why we ended up making y'all the Bible Health Book.
Believe if someone's willing to share their fasting with you, that's respectable. But I will admit, I always feel amazing every time I fast. Me personally. Do your own research on everything.
This paper is titled IoTs, Internet of Things, and DFPL, Device-Free Passive Localization in a Disaster Management Scenario. This paper was accepted March 15th of 2013. So basically, this paper is about tracking an IoT person, okay, who is not carrying any electronic devices. I just want to point out a couple interesting things, and I will leave a breakdown of the paper in the video description.
Hold on. So what they're about to explain is they're still tracking people that don't have any type of cell phone, any type of electronic devices, because somehow they can still track you. That's interesting.
The Internet of Things, IoTs, is an emerging paradigm shaping our current understanding about the future of Internet, where we transform physical objects to smart objects, which can be interlinked through IP. IoT has been emerged as one of the most important paradigmatic streams of thought with regards to the future state of Internet. Its significance is described in terms of providing a different lens on how to link the Internet with real-world objects. In a more comprehensive way, IoT transforms real-world objects into smart objects and connects them through the Internet. In contrast with current Internet, IoT depends on dynamic architecture where physical objects with embedded sensors will communicate with an infrastructure, i.e. a cloud, to send and analyze data using the Internet protocol. IoT envisions a future in which digital and physical entities can be linked through their unique identifier and by means of appropriate information and communication technologies. Your unique identifier is your biometrics, your biosignal that your body puts off, and that's what they are analyzing at this moment.
Dang, so it's coming around full circle. We've been really hitting the head on these biosensors that they're hacking on us. So, man, everybody can't be lying on this, is what I'm thinking.
There are several works highlighting notable challenges for creating a framework to enable interoperability between resources or objects as part of an enlarged future enterprise. A notable challenge is the estimation of the positioning of an object either indoors or outdoors. The number of applications using location information is growing, and the expectation is to expand significantly when IoT objects will require to purposefully get connected. Various indoor location-aware systems have been developed using metrics such as RSSI, Received Signal Strength Indicator, TOA, Time of Arrival, TDOA, Time Difference of Arrival, and AOA, Angle of Arrival. The majority of these systems are active systems where the tracked object, i.e. a person, is participating actively, which means the person is carrying an electronic device sending information necessary to estimate the location. Indoor device-free passive localization DFPL technology uses an RSSI-based method to record variances of a measured signal where an IoT person being tracked is not carrying any electronic device that can be used to estimate the location. The system monitors the changes in the RSSI measurements caused by the presence of a human body in an indoor environment. For example, it is known that the resonance frequency of water is 2.4 GHz and the human body contains more than 70% water. Thus, the human body attenuates the wireless signal reacting as an absorber. References 14 through 16 present various features of DFPL systems. The features can be classified as follows: tracking, identification, single-person detection, multi-person detection, and automatic construction of a passive radio map. So skipping down to here, it says IoT empowers every object around us with computational and communication capabilities. This can be achieved by attaching devices or sensors to objects. The network using radio frequency identification, RFID, infrared sensors, global positioning systems, and any other information sensing technologies embedded in things or everyday items is defined as IoT. IoT people, if you got sensors in you. Wireless sensor networks, WSNs, are a viable solution as the objects can communicate and exchange data with people or other objects.
Hold on, my question is the sensors inside. How do they know if someone has sensors inside them?
So they outline here the use of this in management of disasters and first response emergency scenarios. Pretty much the aim here is to build upon our patent-pending technology in order to deliver a robust field trial-ready human detection system for disaster situations.
This was accepted in March 2013. So it's been over a decade, so this is probably in full swing now, man. Just when I thought being off grid, they couldn't track you. They're tracking you by, we know the body is 70% water and we're tracking them in different variant ways. That is absolutely absurd.
Silence equals consent. Do you understand means do you stand under my authority? And when you say yes, you just gave them the power. Remedy is in the words you speak. Say, I do not consent and I do not stand under your authority. I appear by special appearance to settle this matter. That's not rebellion. That's standing in divine jurisdiction.
So instead of understand, you say I overstand. I've heard someone say overstand before, but I didn't catch it. I'm like, did he say overstand? I didn't think twice about it. But when you say overstand, you're not under what someone says. You don't understand what they're saying. You overstand it. Am I tripping?
Why didn't y'all tell me that? I can drive from Lake Placid, Florida over to Sanford, Florida, load my truck on Amtrak, and ride all the way to Virginia, my truck and me, all the way to Virginia. You know what I'm saying? And I can move around up in that area. When I get ready to come back, load my truck back, and drive and Amtrak can bring me all the way back to Sanford. Why y'all didn't tell me that?
Because I didn't know. I'm trying to think. Why would you want to put your car on a train? And then, I mean, yeah, it'll save miles in gas, but like, it's like, how cheap would it be? How much are you really saving? Unless you was going really far. Like, I could see like if they did like a Amtrak from like Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and then you could put your car on there, man, that would probably do numbers, wouldn't it? Or like from like a Detroit to a Chicago. That would go crazy. Man, that's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed yourself. I try my best to do these every single day. I'm able to do this because of you guys, and I just want to say thank you. The code word for today, brainwaves. The code word for today is brainwaves. When you put that in the comments below, it lets me know you really rock with me. You watch the videos all the way to the end. You just not some guy here, man, the piano's too loud. Oh, man. You know, I feel like sometimes people just be, you know, I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate all my supporters, and I just want to say thank you. I love you guys. Be sure you hit that like button. And this was the most mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.